Hello.
Hey.
It is another episode of the Opinion City podcast.
Yes.
I'm King Ralph and Parma Sean. We are your hosts, and we are super excited to be
Super
back.
pumped.
Another Sunday,
Yeah.
another great interview, another great guest. Amazing
Absolutely.
top five. We are so ready for this episode.
Super excited.
We've been trying to get this one booked for a little while. We finally got it done. So we're
That's right.
super excited for that today. But before we get into that episode, got a little business to take care of. Of course, there are 3 free and easy ways that you can support the show. Number 1,
hit
boom,
that like button. Let us know that you like what we're doing.
Let us know that you're enjoying it. We love the thumbs up. We're thumbs up people here.
Thumbs people.
All right. Number 2, hit that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button. Just
obliterate it.
Pretend you're at a hockey game and get crazy.
That's right.
That way you'll never miss anything we're doing. And finally, number 3, hit that share button.
Share us with your friends, everyone that you know, people in the hockey rink, Yeah,
listen, just go out there and share it with the Zamboni driver.
That's right.
Tell him you love what we're doing here. So share it with the Zamboni driver.
Yes.
All right. If you'd love to help us out in those ways, we'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to help us out even more, we have merch. Wait,
we got the merch.
What happened?
Look at that merch.
Oh no! Look at that.
Eagles are taking over the podcast.
Oh, listen,
man.
Great merch.
Great merch.
We've got all kinds of merch, including
love it.
All of our WrestleMania merch featuring Philadelphia logos. We've got Raw logos, SmackDown logos, pay-per-view logos. We've got fanny packs. Just join the fanny pack and buy a fanny pack
game.
Yes. You can follow us at Opinion City Pod to see everything that we're doing on all socials. You can follow at Wild_LLC to see everything that the corporate overlords that apparently own us are doing as well. Yes. And last but not least, and this is the most important, always the most important, please follow and support our guests.
Absolutely.
Go and see them if you can. Get to a show, buy merch, follow them online, just support everything they are doing.
Do it.
Because that's what we're here for.
That's right.
All right, Sean, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I think it's time to get this little Pardookie rolling here. So who do we have on the show today, Sean?
Long-time fan of the show, long-time watcher, first-time guest. He is one half of the Broad Street Bullies, Monster Factory's own Liam Blak.
Hey, there he is.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on,
man? Good to see you.
I'm chilling.
Yes,
I'm glad to be on the show finally.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It's been a while. But we're excited to have you here. Excited to have you on.
Yeah. I'm so grateful to be on.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
So what was the moment in your life that made you decide that this crazy performance art venture is what you wanted to do?
I would say I actually remember this very vividly.
When
I was 4, what I was a ruckus. Like I was a rowdy kid. I was all over the place.
Sure.
Mom never knew what to do with me. She
Right.
didn't put me in programs, anything like that. I was just all over the place. I was wild. One day, we're at home and I'm on the couch and I'm taking the couch cushions off and I'm throwing the couch cushions down and I'm flipping on them and I'm just all over the place. And my mom is channel surfing. She's just channel surfing, whatever. And she's channel surfing and Monday Night Raw comes on. And it's the Raw logo with Jeff Hardy doing the Swanton like with Raw.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just remember I picked the couch cushions up and I put them back on the couch. And I sat there and I watched the entire show. Completely silent, just watched it as a fan. And I just remember looking over at my mom and going, I'm doing that. That's what I want to do. And that was it. From there, I was hooked. Instantly.
See,
that point, that was the moment I decided.
So what was the match specifically that you remember watching first?
That's a good question. I only really remember that moment. The first recollection of a match I have is Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
Okay.
I was at that match.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. I was
there.
How old was I? 4 or 5? I was 5.
Oh, that's crazy. Wait, so you're how old right now? 20?
20. I just turned 20.
So,
When
I'm getting old.
when I was 4 years old, Hulk Hogan hadn't even won the WWF title yet. Like
Okay,
this,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can only remember that if I watch videos of it.
Yeah,
Never
right.
would
No, of course,
never would have seen that. But no, I know I watched wrestling earlier than this, but the first like actual match I remember watching all the way through, like I remember like bits of certain other matches.
Right.
But that was the first one I remember watching. And I just remember thinking, this is crazy. And I was a big Sean fan. I already knew I liked Sean.
Right.
So when Taker beat Sean, I remember I cried and my uncle made fun of me. So thank you.
Good
Uncle Trey,
times.
for that.
Good times. Cool. Good times.
Yeah, I remember I cried because he lost and I wanted him to win. And he didn't. My boy didn't come through.
No, he did not. Well,
so then you must have cried even harder when he lost again the following year.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
He still picks on me about it to this day.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh man,
he won't let it go. So
he won't let it go.
It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So we start watching wrestling at 4. We're jumping off the couch cushions. We know that this is what we're gonna do. We talk to a lot of people on this show who sometimes mention that, maybe there was a time where they kind of phased out of wrestling a little bit and stopped watching. Did you ever have a period like that, or were you just like lifelong fan?
So I would say my phases out of wrestling would be more so for like I had no way to watch it.
Okay.
So I didn't have cable growing up. So the only way I could watch these pay-per-views or these Raws were like buying the disc.
Right.
Like the physical media version of it. Like Judgment Day 2008. I could tell you that card from front to back because I watched it a million times as a kid. Because I was like, I bought that disc and
very cool.
I would like go through the matches. I would like mimic them on my head. I like be Jeff Hardy. He wrestled MVP for the US title, I think, at that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like mimicking the movements because I watched it so much.
Right.
So that was like, I wouldn't necessarily say I never phased out of wrestling. I just had my points where I couldn't watch it. So I would have to like buy the physical media versions of the pay-per-views or of like the best of Raw and SmackDown 2011.
Right.
Obviously I remember some of the clips, like occasionally I could watch Raw. Like I'd go over to my cousin's house and be like, hey, can we please watch Raw? That's kind of the only reason I'm here hanging out with you.
Right. Yeah.
So we can watch every night. And
nice.
That would be the only way I could watch it then. I would say I've had my ups and downs with like being interested in the product.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's had its low points. I was big on the Authority era, and then like the draft, like Brand Split, AJ, soaring to his greatness. And then like that 2017 to like 2019, I was kind of like, like there was a point where I remember
it wasn't the best of times.
Pay-per-view, I'm not like upset about it. But yeah, that's Jake in the background. If you guys can Eagles are playing, and
Eagles are playing. They are actively playing.
They are. They just scored right now. Yeah. So you were talking about remembering clips and things. So I'm going to throw out a clip there and see if you remember this one. It was usually at the beginning of the show, and they would show all these injuries, and then they would say, "Don't try this at home." Do you remember that clip or not? Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering because you're talking about I do everything I see on the screen
at home, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I can tell people that I'm a professional. This doesn't apply. Before I couldn't, but now I can.
Yeah.
So
that
was that's fun.
So if you're 20 now, how long have you been training as an active wrestler for?
So how long I've been training for? I started in May of I want to say 2022. Okay. I remember I started training and I went to like 2 classes. I always trained at the factory, never anywhere else. I'm factory homegrown.
That's right.
Right. But I remember, I want to say it was late May of 2022. And then I missed most of that month just because I was traveling 3 hours to train 2 times a week, going from where I lived at Needham, Maryland to Paulsboro, New Jersey.
Wow.
So it was a long drive. So I remember I missed like just financial things and things like that. When I came back, it was right around the 2300 show.
Mhm.
So I believe that was what that was like June 30th of 2022. I want to
Yeah.
say. So yeah, that makes sense. I started training then. I would say June of 2022, and until present, obviously. So I'd say what 2.5 years, almost 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. There's 3 years. It goes
Yeah,
by.
sounds
I
like it,
feel
yeah.
old now.
For
I
sure.
feel like that just happened. But
So saying that you've been at the Monster Factory since you started training, tell us a little bit about like what your experience has been training at the Monster Factory.
So I love it. Personally, I love a lot of the people there. I really love that now, especially being more advanced of
Mm.
a trainer, that you do get certain responsibilities to like help
Hmm.
the newer students chain around, or teach them how to bump, or help them walk through things in matches. Like I love the idea of the more experience you have, the more you can help teach the newer people.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing I would say I enjoy a lot. I also enjoy how long, like, I can be there any day of the week, basically, except Monday
Right.
because Raw's on, you know.
Right.
It's totally
Of
my
course.
fault. I don't
Of
know why
course.
we don't train on Mondays, but it would be tough for me because, TRL, I miss SmackDown, and I'm like, I just
Right.
have to watch
Right.
SmackDown. But
Mm-hmm.
we get there, we can be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Mhm.
Saturday, and Sunday. So like just the amount of reps and time I can get in the ring, really, really beneficial. So I really love the school. And also like a lot of great talent has come from there. So
Oh,
it's definitely
absolutely.
just feels like an honor to be a part of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That group of people like Priest and Riddle and things like that. It just feels cool to like wear that shirt that they wore,
Yeah. Of course. So, how and why the Monster Factory, being so far away in Maryland?
Oh, okay. My uncle's getting a lot of praise right now to start. But truth be told, I applied for a different wrestling school closer to Maryland. Well, it's
Okay.
technically still 2.5 hours away, but where I'm from, you don't. There's not a lot around. Like where I'm
Right.
from, like
Right.
2,000 people live where I'm at in Eden, Maryland.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're gonna have wrestling schools out the wazoo or whatever.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't even know what that word means, but anyway. I remember he was just searching on his phone on Google, like what are good wrestling schools in the like Eastern Shore area.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, check this one school out. It's the Monster Factory. And I remember I already paid this other school like $4,000. I already gave them like some of my money.
Right.
Because the original idea was I was going to go to Florida to train.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I just thought Florida had a lot of good wrestling schools there.
Sure.
And it was a good market, especially for the indies. So that was my original idea. And then things happened, kind of got dropped on it. But then we were searching like, okay, what's something closer to here? And the factory was available. And he shows me it and he goes, yeah, this place is like 2.5 hours away, but like, look at all these guys that have come from here. I think you should give it a shot. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then it got to the point where I just turned 18, or I was about to turn 18, and I was like, I want to start wrestling now. I want to do it now. And the Monster Factory was still like, all right, cool. We can still do this. Like, it's possible. So my mom reached out to Danny, and Danny was like, yeah, come by. And I came by, took a tour of the school, and I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. I sent my money, and I was like, all right, we're doing this. And yeah, that was kind of it. My uncle really helped find the place, and then my mom obviously helped me get there to be able to do it. So.
Shout out to Liam's uncle.
Yeah. So you brought up talking to Danny. What is your relationship been like with Danny?
Oh God,
it's always a great question.
That's great. Great answer already.
Danny's a character.
Me and Danny's relationship is I feel like our relationship is very much it's coach student. Like I don't really consider us like pals or anything like that, but he does give me some great advice. And I remember one time, this is like one of the rare moments that I go, okay, Danny Cage might like me.
Okay,
you know
okay.
Danny, he can be a little rough.
Listen, we had him on a podcast,
Yeah.
and he was on for like what, an hour and whatever,
Like
and
40
I'm still
minutes.
not sure if he likes us or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It's very hard. He's a very hard guy to read.
Yeah.
But I remember I'm coming back from one of my matches, and I went over on time. I remember it. I was like, this felt really good, but I know I went over time, so I immediately went up to him like, hey, I'm sorry, I went over. He goes, don't ever tell me you went over time. Did I say anything? I thought it was great. Now go, leave. And I was like,
yeah,
okay,
right.
thank you.
very cool.
Don't know if you don't like it, if you don't like me, or if you do.
Right. Right.
But no, he's always very open to listen. I have some ideas I always like throwing out there just to kind of advance me as a character and also advance me as a performer and as a person in general. So I always pitch him these ideas for like things I want to do and things. He never shoots any of it down. He just might tell me it's stupid or it doesn't make sense, but he never he always hears me out. So and then other than that, he's given me some good advice in terms of the wrestling aspect of it, especially when it comes to being a babyface versus being a heel and like how to control that dynamic. I'd say he's helped me out a lot with that. But yeah, very much just coach-student relationship. I don't really know if he likes me. I don't know if we're friends. But,
well, maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Well, here's a follow-up Danny question, and I just thought of this. So if you, in the time that you have been at the Monster Factory, if you had to estimate a number, how many times have you heard Danny drop the F-bomb? I need to go back and count how many times he said it during our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta go back and count it.
If you're to estimate a number.
Over
100?
Infinity. That's
the infinity symbol. Good one. I like it.
It's never ending. That's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't count. I would lose count. So
it's fair enough.
Just doing fair enough.
Love it.
So tell us in your own words, sir, just who is Liam Blak?
I love that you called me sir. The question is like, who is Liam Blak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In your own words,
so
who is Liam Blak?
I think I've always looked at Liam Blak as he's a kid, that has always wanted to mean something to people, right? Like he comes from a small town. He doesn't have anyone in kind of his corner supporting him, and he's like trying to do whatever he can to get this attention and this notice from people. That's why he goes out there, he does all the crazy flips, but he's still an asshole. And you just hate this guy, but you don't know why. It's that constant pursuit to be praised, like to be noticed, to be something. It's also just like me, the person, Isaiah, the person that plays this character. It's very much like he's me, but he's like turned up till 10. Liam is like everything Isaiah can't be. Like Isaiah's a very antisocial creature. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't go outside. He doesn't like hanging out. He's very quiet. He's very sheltered. He's very anxiety prone. And then you have Liam Blak on the other hand, who's like, I'm going to go out there.
The opposite.
You all suck. I'm better than all of you. I'm going to do all these cool flips and you're going to love me. And there's nothing you can do about it. And just so intrusive upon other people. It's the exact opposite of me, which lets me know I'm kind of figuring it out. Like just the complete exact 180 of who I am. Apart from like all the crazy bumps that I take because you know what I mean? Poison Ranas and Destroyers that I try to put on a show, but that's what I would describe Liam Blak as, a very much someone who has come from very little and and is kind of putting that chip on his shoulder without anyone telling him it's there. And just trying to prove everyone wrong that he can be successful. And he's doing it in the worst way.
So coming into wrestling and thinking about who you were going to be and what kind of character you were going to portray. Is that the vision that you had coming in, or is that something that kind of developed over time? Is that the character you always wanted to play?
That's a really good question. So I don't know if I would say I was a smart fan when it came to wrestling, but I always knew that like a character was something I would have to figure out over time. Like it was cool to have these ideas or whatever, but I knew whatever my original idea isn't going to be what I end up becoming. Like it just won't happen. I remember I wanted to do this like the very first month of my career. I went by the Emperor Blak.
Okay.
I tried to go for this like Bane-esque character that like wanted to rule over everyone, and it was just this vicious, violent dude. And it didn't work, especially because I ended up being a babyface, right?
Right.
That was like the only original kind of idea I had. I always had aspirations to be like a luchador.
Okay.
That's just
wow.
Okay. I love that style of wrestling. Obviously,
Yeah.
As a Hispanic person myself, I would like love to carry on that culture. But I just didn't think that would work either. I just really wanted to figure out what could work for me. So I never really had a character in mind, except for that little idea I had.
Yeah.
Right.
I've kind of just morphed and developed from what I've been given, what I want out of it. If I'm given mic time, or if I'm given a match where I can tell a story, now what do we want Liam to be? Like, what do we want him to do? Why does he approach the ring this way? Why does he interact with certain people this way and others this way? Like, what is the character within this, whatever I'm given? So, yeah. I don't think I ever had a fully fleshed out character ever. I was just kind of like, we're going to go and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it worked out pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about your tag team, Broad Street Bullies.
Ooh.
You are one half of the team with Jake Manley. How did that all kind of come about? And does hockey play a big influence on that?
So yes, I would say I'm a big hockey guy. So Jake and I are both hockey guys, but like,
what's your
he's
team?
here with it, and I'm like, hockey, like that's my sport, you know. It all came about. We were doing TRLs, and this is why I'm always grateful for TRLs and that we have them, because they're so good to just like figure out stuff. I don't think I'd be nearly as good of a wrestler as I am now without those.
Okay.
But I remember originally this all started. I had a program idea I wanted to do with Mark. Like I wanted to do this like 3-match series with Mark. Like, okay, we would come out. I would tell him he's a loser. Blah blah blah. I had this whole thing written out.
Sure.
And Mark was on board. We were going to pitch it. We pitched the idea, and I remember I came into TRL that day, and it was like, okay, it's Mark and Travis versus Liam and Jake. And I'm like, well, wait. We were like going to do all this other stuff. I sent this 3-page essay into the chat, like, what's going on? And I just remember when we were coming up with the match, I was like, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be good, but no way this is going to stick. I remember Jake kept telling me, he's like, this is going to be so one-off thing. And I remember just as we were out there just doing it when we first came out together, I remember we got back. And as soon as we got back, I go, yeah, no, this isn't like we're like, yeah, that was too good of a performance that we don't end up a tag team. Right. And sure enough, a week or two later, the booking is like, hey, Jake and Liam are going to come out in the main event and beat up whoever was in the main event. And it's like, and then they're going to scurry away. And I was like, you're already putting us together. It's just going to happen. And then sure enough, I think it was the show before We've Been Here, the big WrestleMania show we had, where we wrestled on the pre-show against Kiki Roberts, El Papi Chulo. Love that guy. Yes. I don't remember the third individual's name, unfortunately, but I remember after that, we then in the main attacked Darling and Stevie. And that was like when I knew for official, that's when we cut the promo, like, hey, we're the Broad Street Bullies. Yeah. which is funny because that was never going to not be the name. That was always
right.
We never had to come up with a tag team name. Jake was already the Broad Street Bully.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we'll just be the Broad Street Bullies. And then Liam Blak will figure out what Liam Blak is means to the team. And yeah, from there, it just kind of, we wrestled Homicide.
Yeah.
And we've kind of just been cooking. We've had some of our best tag matches recently. So it kind of all came about after completely something different. Completely something else that was going to happen entirely. And I guess it was like I wouldn't really say it was like a happy accident, but it was kind of like hey, you guys got to wait one more week. And then in the process of that, it ended up coming into the Broad Street Bullies. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to be a tag guy.
Very cool. So one of the things that we usually talk about with Monster Factory wrestlers, when you go to the Monster Factory, you don't just learn wrestling. You learn all types of different things. There is there something else at the factory that you may have learned or done that you maybe enjoy, a little more than others, or obviously not as much as wrestling, but maybe a little more than the other things you've learned?
Oh yeah. For sure. I know that for a fact that the Monster Factory is currently posting like you learn all these skills here, and Liam Black's face is just
it's right there
next to all these check marks, ref, and all that. That's the coolest thing to me. Liam Blak is like on that marquee of what all you can learn at the factory. I would say for me, I honestly love reffing, like practice matches and things like that.
There you go.
Just because I never had the opportunity. I wasn't like a ref first and then a wrestler, which is kind of how it happens at the factory. You kind of pay your dues and then you get to wrestle. I just had a practice match one time and they're like, all right, you're wrestling, and then I just was never off the show. So
there you go.
I just love I love being a ref just because like there is so many little nuanced things. And there's a ref that works at the Monster Factory named Ben.
Ben
Heist,
guy. Yep.
He actually tells me so much. Like whenever he sees me ref, he's like, "You did this wrong. You did this wrong." He's busting my balls. But
I thought you were going to tell me he told you good things.
Right.
I would say I enjoy reffing, and then also I enjoy doing a little bit of commentary whenever I can. I haven't been able to do it on the shows yet, but I played like every 2K game ever and would always commentate over my videos.
Yeah.
So
you have the experience.
I'm capable.
Oh man, you got skills. Yeah.
But
listen,
yeah, for sure.
2K wrestling games give everybody skills, like all kinds of stuff, like I tell my wife, like, I was upstairs and I just did a 450 plancha. You should have seen it. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I got skills.
Yeah. No, that's, I haven't taken a 2K move off the game yet. But I know I will at some point. Like I'll find something that I really like and I'll go, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But I know that's very common.
So how is the mindset different than going from wrestling to being a referee for a wrestling match?
So I say you're very much still a wrestler when you're a ref. Because you're the third person in the story. You very much have to understand what the wrestlers are doing to know how to present that as an official. I wouldn't necessarily know what the difference of the mindset is, just because I haven't taken enough experience as a ref. I kind of just do it for practice matches, but like always being visual and being very hands-on with your opponents and helping them if they need to call spots or whatever the case may be. And just like being present, and also like, hey, if I'm reffing a match, I should probably stand by them and see what they're calling. So in case if one of them forgets, I could be like, oh, you can drop down, leapfrog, hip toss, whatever.
Right.
But I wouldn't necessarily say I know what the mindset is. I would just say I kind of take it as a wrestler who knows what kind of ref you would want and try to be the ref that I want as a wrestler.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was actually good. I like that answer. I'm keeping that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So talking about your wrestling career, you've had some success to this point. Talk about maybe some short-term or long-term goals that you may have for yourself in wrestling.
Okay, perfect. So a a goal I just figured out I want to make happen. I want to wrestle in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
want to go to Mexico and wrestle. It's something new that like popped in my head as like 3 weeks ago. I look at kind of the resume and what I built for myself, and I go, it's definitely possible to do that. And also in Mexico, they work the other side of the body. It's all the right side. It's not the left.
Yeah,
So
right.
as a pro wrestler who wants to be the very best and wants to learn how to get better at their craft, that is the perfect place to go.
Yeah.
To learn how to wrestle a completely different style and then to be good at that. That is like obviously one of the bigger goals I have. I don't really know if I want to do it this year or give myself a little bit more room, like maybe 3 years.
One more time.
But it's definitely something as soon as I get the opportunity, something I'm jumping on for sure. I think short-term goals for me, especially this year, is to win an MFPW championship.
Yeah. Right.
It's eluded me, and I've been wrestling for almost 3 years there, and I haven't been able to win one yet. But the Broad Street Bullies are, I think we're turning it up, and I think pretty soon we'll be Monster Factory Tag Team Champions. That's a short-term goal. My long-term goal in Mexico. Obviously, the goal is to be signed to WWE.
Right.
That's everybody's goal. But I think those are a good couple of short-term and long-term goals. I have a character idea I want to start doing and building.
Oh, okay.
So that might be another one.
Awesome.
Like finally introduce that kind of catchphrase, moniker, and ideology to my character that I'm still working on. I'd say those are my short-term and long-term goals. I used to do sales, so this is weird. Short-term, long-term goal. But wrestling, I know my goals. I have a bunch, but those are just a few. I'll keep it short.
Very cool.
Now, speaking of championships, you have one behind your head there. It's one belt for all. Apparently, it's 3 promotions, 1 championship. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is for 3 different. We're one Funhouse Wrestling and Titan Championship Wrestling.
Okay,
wow.
Wow.
Towards the end of this year, I won that. That was a very fun experience. They just got those new titles in.
Wow. Okay.
The very day. So the team that had it before us, they got to take pictures with the new belts, and then they gave it to us. So
nice.
I felt bad, but also like, hey, this is that's also the first ever. It's also the first ever championship I've won in the wrestling business. So very, very cool. The match was it was a good match. 6-man tag titles. It's very interesting.
Right.
I'm not usually a fan of like a multi-man.
Oh no.
Title, but
not a fan?
Yeah. Like the 8-mans and the 6-mans. I'm usually like, oh, that's just a lot of titles. Like that's a lot of belts to have.
Yeah. Well,
too much.
Too much titles.
It was a great experience. I'm grateful that they trusted me with that honor. So now I'm just gonna do the best I can to make that the best belt in the promotion for sure.
Absolutely.
There you go. Now I'm going to give you a piece of advice, and this is from experience. If you are at the Monster Factory and you win one of their titles, make sure you take the belts home.
Right.
Oh yeah.
We were there for him yelling about take the belts home.
Take the belts home.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of a. I think I'm just gonna leave it there for that. It's kind of it stays,
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me win it. I'm just gonna.
You guys can keep it on the wall over there. I'll just thanks.
I'll just get it when I need it.
As soon as I win it, I'm not even gonna take pictures. As soon as I win it, as soon as the referee,
here you go.
I'm gonna slide it underneath the rope and put it on the wall. Just to,
here, take it back. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So now, speaking of the Monster Factory, what have been some of your favorite matches that you've had there so far?
And that in terms of just wrestling or at the factory in general, or just overall?
Wrestling in general.
Yeah.
Wrestling in general.
Yeah.
So for sure, my match against the Paganos that are. I told you
Controlled
guys.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, I do. I was
Redacted.
gonna do it. Papa Juice, I'm sorry, and Jay, aka Lil Juice, I'm also sorry. But the match we just had at One Last Fight was probably one of the best wrestling matches I've ever ever had.
Oh wow.
We went out there and we knew what we wanted. We had it planned. We knew we were gonna kill it no matter what. I've never had so much confidence going into a match, but like those two guys I know are worthy like opponents for me in terms of like I'm never gonna have any issues with them. Like they're just great. They're on it. They're smooth. They're fast. They know what they're doing. So them was for sure. It was one of the best matches I've ever had. I think everything happened the way we wanted to. I got to do my cool moonsault on the outside that I do.
Nice.
We did a Spanish fly. We did.
Nice.
Oh my God, we did so much in that match. And I got so much praise for it backstage. And Danny doing the house call on the mic. I remember I'm laying there exhausted because it was a really long match. I'm laying there, I'm looking at the ceiling, and I hear Danny's voice go, "Give it up for them one more time. That was amazing." And I look over at Jake and I go, "Is he like next to my ear? Because why do I hear him?
Right.
Like, why am I hearing him right now?
Yeah.
Danny, are you in my head?"
Yeah.
But no, he did it from the speaker, so the entire audience heard it.
Right.
And clapped it up for us, and
Yeah,
that's when I knew I was like, okay, certified banger.
Yeah.
I definitely one of the best matches I've ever had in terms of singles. I would say I had a really good match just recently with Marv. That I thought was really good. I had a birthday party match with Cameron Pierce. One of the best matches I've ever had. It was really good. So that's on my YouTube channel. You can find the match. It is a lost gem, but you can find it. That was one of my favorite matches. Obviously, Wrestling Homicide.
I mean, come on.
I know. I always go like, okay, there's a difference between greatest match because, like, okay, you hit all the checkpoints, like your match went flawlessly, and just like how you felt when you were in there. And with Homicide, that was definitely awesome. And then the second match we had against the Snatchers as a tag team.
Oh, they're such a good team.
Banger.
Oh.
Banger. And then I've had a couple practice matches with Nick that are all up there for me because we have really good chemistry. Nick Petit, my guy, but you never see those because he's a heel. I'm a heel, so you never get to see that at the factory. But yeah, those are just to name a few. I've had a lot of great matches. I think a lot of really good performers I've been in there with. So, but those are the ones off the top of my head that I can give you as like my tops.
Now, to add to that, are there any opponents that you have yet to face that you'd like to?
At the factory, definitely a few. First one that comes to mind is Chris Desmond. He's starting to. I'm like, you're almost there to the point.
He's on the rise.
Makes sense when we wrestle.
He's on the rise.
And I know that match would be just pure gold because we're both. I always look at him as a guy that I'm like, I'm trying to be like get on his level in terms of like high flying. And like whenever there's a crash pad in the ring, we'll both just run up and do different flips to see who can top who. Who's the better high flyer? I start to give myself that nickname, and then he lets me know real quick that he's the best. And then I'll go out there and do something, and he goes, "Okay, maybe it's you." And it's just that constant. So I know with that competitive edge and just as good of a wrestler and a performer as he is, that one definitely for sure needs to happen, and hopefully it'll happen soon. Just with like the way the stories are developing. I think. An obvious one, Nick, because I never wrestled Nick in a singles match or at the factory or in general. Really, I don't think we've ever had a one-on-one. Definitely someone I want to, because I work with them all the time. We just don't ever. It's crazy. Yeah. We just don't ever get to wrestle each other like in front of a crowd, except for birthday party matches, which are
of course.
Great. So book us. Anyway, and then I would say I'd have to say Goldie. Goldie have to be my number 3, or not really. I'm not counting.
Sure.
He was the third name.
Right.
I think wrestling him would be to prove to myself that I can hang there with the best. And obviously, he's been on AEW and he's been in New Japan. Like he's done a lot of great things.
Sure.
So,
everywhere.
Just to go in the ring and you can always tell like when you can hold your own against somebody. It's just that look that you can give each other, and you go, okay, you're locked in, I'm locked in,
right?
Like so yeah, I think he's my he's my number 3 for sure. I'd love to work with him eventually at some point in my career. I think that'd be an amazing match for sure.
All right. So let's talk about Liam Blak outside the ring a little bit.
Yeah.
So what kind of hobbies and interests do you have outside the world of wrestling?
Ooh, really just wrestling only. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Huh?
No, one of my biggest, I think it's always a toss up what my biggest hobby is, if it's music or if it's hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's music.
Oh,
I want to say it's music and then it's hockey, but those are 2 hobbies that I really, really, really get into because wrestling is no longer a hobby for me. You know, it's my profession. It's what I want to do. That used to be my only hobby, right? And you know, school was just like, I just have to get through this so I can wrestle. But then once wrestling became a career, I realized I needed something to fill in those gaps when I had those little breaks, you know. Hockey for me was a big one. My uncle was like really the only person that watched hockey in our family. So that was really just kind of how we started bonding, and then fell in love with the Bruins. I'm a Bruins fan.
Okay.
That's gonna cost me. I'll take
it's an odd place to live being a Bruins fan.
Yeah. I won't change it for the world, even though everyone hates me. It's okay. And me and Jake go to the Bruins and Flyers game all the time when they play in Wells Fargo, and he is yet to see the Flyers beat the Bruins. So it's great.
Oh, well, there you go. There you
go. So yeah, I would say hockey and then music. I just love writing music. Just whenever a lyric comes into my head that I think of, I love writing it down. And I have a bunch of guitars on my wall. They're on the other side of my wall, but
nice.
I love playing music, the bass, the guitar. I've really fell in love with the drums like later.
Hell yeah.
Towards the tail end of like me moving to Philly because I just recently moved here.
Right.
And yeah, so I think those are like my 2 biggest hobbies. And I'm interested in like surprisingly I'm interested in physics. That's really what I'm interested in. Just like how the universe works.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's like a big interest I have. And then obviously my hobbies are hockey and music, I think, for me. Those are like
so how early did you start learning how to make music and like play guitar? What instrument did you learn first?
I learned how to play the bass first.
Okay.
Story to this, I watched the Dirt, the Netflix film about Motley Crue.
Okay.
On Netflix. And Nikki Sixx was the most appealing character to me, and he played the bass. And I was like, I really just want to see if I can do this, which is kind of just what I do with everything. So I went to a pawn shop, bought a bass guitar, and I started playing. And that was kind of. I never really like. From a kid, I was like, I want to play. It kind of just I saw a movie, like when I was like 15 or 16, and I was like, I want to play the bass because he plays it. Nikki Sixx is cool.
Yeah,
so I want to do that. So then I started playing the bass, and all of my family members are musical roots. Like everyone plays music, so you know, so you just
look at you.
You kind of just fit in and start playing with your uncle a little bit, and then your cousins, and then like pretty soon you pick up a different instrument because you're like, all right, this one's getting kind of boring.
Yeah.
So then I picked up the guitar. The drums was the last of the 3 for me. Besides vocals, I just love screaming, like the whole metal screaming. So I
screamo,
yes,
yeah, you know.
Oh yeah.
Which you can never hear it when I wrestle because whenever I wrestle and I yell, my voice cracks all the time.
Right.
My voice constantly lets me down.
Of course.
When I wrestle, I'm tired, I'm blown up, and I go to yell at somebody, and then I'm just like, great. I look terrible now.
Right.
Yeah. So I played it's bass, and then it was guitar, and then drums. Each of them, I feel like I'm semi okay at playing. So.
What was the first song that you learned on each? What was the first song that you learned on each instrument?
What's up?
What's the first song that you learned on each instrument?
Ooh. God, good question. I know this one. I know.
Okay.
It's Reincarnate by Motionless in White for every single instrument.
Oh, okay. There
Very
you go.
cool.
So for the bass, I learned that I played on the bass, and then I learned how to play it on guitar because it's essentially the exact same thing, except like with a couple pinch harmonics in there for different parts. And I don't want to get all nerdy.
No,
just a couple different parts that are a little bit different. Playing guitar, you play more strings, but the drums was the hardest one to learn how to play it to. But I did eventually kind of semi get it. I still don't think I have it 100%, but it's Motionless in White, Reincarnate on all three.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, now I thought you were gonna say something crazy, like, you know, the first instrument I learned was like the oboe in fourth grade.
Right, something crazy.
You know, I figured that was coming.
Could you imagine? I was like, the first song I learned on guitar was Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon.
Oh, geez, you're right. So crazy like that. Yeah.
I don't even
Guitar
think
Hero
they've
classic,
learned that song
man.
yet.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I know this is before your time, but take any band from Seattle in the 90s and you look like you could be a bass player for them.
There you go.
You got the look.
Definitely got the look.
I didn't realize how like late I came on to like music. Like I really don't know a lot about like the 80s and stuff like until like I learned. Like really there's like a whole history of music that I was unaware of for a very long time.
So who's your favorite band in the past and who's your favorite band now?
My favorite band is now and probably for always will be Motionless in White.
Motionless in White. Okay.
I have a tattoo on me.
Got it.
My new theme song is a song from their album called Meltdown.
There you go.
Their newest album, Scoring the End of the World. Man, that band for me, it switched from Slipknot to Motionless.
Okay.
It was originally Slipknot when I went in when I was like 14 and I was an angry teenager. I was like, yeah, Slipknot, raw. You know, I was very much on Corey Taylor and the early self-titled in Iowa. Anything past that was like, it's all great. All their music's great, except for like the new stuff they're doing. That's just dog shit. But everything from like You're Not Your Kind to like self-titled, I love. But like, if you're a fan of their later music, I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion.
Trashed the entire generation.
Wow.
Yeah, like their self-titled and Iowa albums were like just helped me get so much like out of like anger that I didn't know I had that I was able to release and express through music. Which is really, really why I've kind of fallen in love with music and playing it, because it allows you to have an outlet.
Yeah.
When I'm not wrestling, I know I can turn on this thing and have that other, maybe it's not as big of an outlet, but it's, you know, it's still there.
Yeah.
So for them, that was like for my 14, 15, 16, when I was like angry at the world for some reason. I was 14. I had no problems,
you know,
whatever.
And then at like 16 and stuff, like I started morphing into like having really bad anxiety, and I always did as a kid. I've always struggled with anxiety very much, but like, and then the depression and sadness, and then I kind of felt Motionless, and they were very much like a similar thing to Slipknot, but it just felt more connectable to me. Like their first album, Creatures, there's a song called Immaculate Misconception on it. And and a lyric in the song is like, I just want to do good for people. I want to talk about all the letters to you that you sang to me. Like, you know, just really like pronouncing that the fans like the love that they produce to them and that they give back, and just like, hey, you're not alone in whatever you're going through. That really like stuck with me, and I just really connected with all their music, and that's when they took the #1 spot, and from there, Slipknot's always going to be a close second, but I just think for me, Motionless will always have those deep connections for me. It's actually funny because Joe and Papa Juice and Lil Juice, aka Jay, they're big Motionless. Now Papa Juice gets on me because I love Motionless so much. He pretends they suck when he's around me. He's like, oh, you're stupid. I don't like them. And I'm like, okay, I know you're lying, but whatever. So that's a funny story. But yeah, for me, Motionless, it'll always be Motionless. Every single thing that band makes, I love, except for Loud. Fuck it. It's a song on their Graveyard Shift album. That is the only one that I go.
Only one.
Only song in their whole catalog.
Only one song.
I'm out.
That's not bad. If it's one song, that's
like
not
125.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
You know?
All I know is that King Ralph here can play you a mean ukulele.
Oh yeah, listen,
Yeah.
that's I'm all about, that's me.
I know for sure when Rhea got Motionless to do her theme, I remember I remember the day I found out. I looked over at Nick, who I was sitting next to, and I go, "She just took my dream from me."
Oh, yeah.
That was like my dream. I was
That
like,
was my idea. It was me.
They still can, but
Yeah. Well,
and then
so
they perform for it at Mania, and I'm like,
yeah. Were you excited to
was.
see them? Were you excited to see
That's
them
what I
perform
wanted
at Mania?
for me.
Was that like a cool thing for you, seeing them at Mania?
Yeah. Obviously, I was a little bit bitter.
Right.
Sure.
A little jealous.
It was definitely awesome to see how much the band has grown from when I started listening to them. The first time I heard them was in NXT in 2014. They did Unstoppable, the theme song for NXT Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I heard that, and then I was like, "Oh, this band's pretty cool." And then I started listening to their music, and from there, hooked me.
Literally hooked you. You're done. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Awesome.
Chris Motionless is like peak, like that's my man crush right there. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I'll never not. That's fun.
Yep.
He
Right
got it. You
know.
Gotcha. All right. So what would you say the future holds for Liam Blak?
Future goal for Liam Blak is to be a champion at the Monster Factory, obviously. To start getting my name out there a lot more. I'd say that's Liam Blak's goal, is to go everywhere and kind of cause a ruckus.
Yeah.
And get on notice. I think those are like the two. Obviously, in terms of like going other places, going to Mexico, things like that. Those are all things I think I would excel at. So that's Liam Blak's biggest goal. And
now,
his number one goal is to beat Control Chaos. Just
there you go.
I want to beat them. Yeah.
Now, would Liam Blak ever don a luchador mask? If you had,
one more time. Sorry.
Would you ever don a luchador mask?
I was just talking about this. I was talking about this literally today.
Nice.
I would love to, and for the birthday parties that we do for those kids that come to the factory, I do wear a mask.
Oh, okay.
And I dress up as I'm Liam. No, that's just, but I'm just Liam. I haven't come up with a good like Spanish name.
Right.
But I do that at birthday parties, and I always love Taco Fest that we do every year, like and in Philly, because we can wear the mask and be. I remember I always said I wanted to. I just for me, I don't necessarily know if I like get the respect or the believability that I'm a luchador wrestler. Right. So I never did it. But definitely would love to. Like if they signed me to WWE and they were like, "Hey, we want you to be a luchador." All right.
Yep.
That's fine.
Done.
Yep. But yeah, I've thought about it. I literally said something the other day. I'm like, I want to wear a mask, and I want the Hoovy mask. So like the
yes,
the mask. That's what I really want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've donned it. I've donned it a few times. Obviously, Penta. I'm a big fan of Penta. I've been annoying everyone at the factory all week. Like I've done his thing to everybody all week, and they're like, "Shut up about him."
That's great.
But he was the only AW guy I wanted to see come to WWE. He's also like one of the greatest luchadors of all time.
Yeah.
So that was definitely cool. So I want to get one of his replica masks, and then for birthday party. It's
there you go.
Cool. I thought about it and I've done it, but not as like Liam Blak.
Right.
He's never donned a mask. I don't think that'll happen. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is going to bring us to our final question of the interview.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah. Final question time. All right, Sean, take it away.
So, Liam Blak, what does pro wrestling mean to you, and what is the significance that it has had on your life?
Pro wrestling, to me, is very much. I would always say it's my everything. Like, so wrestling for me is my first love. I don't think I'll ever love anything as much as I love wrestling. The amount of people it brings together and the amount of stories that are told, and I truly think it's the best pure form of art you could have. For me, it means a lot. I think I look at wrestling as not only like this is what I love, but also like the opportunities and the avenues it could bring is insane. I started wrestling because I wanted to make sure I could make both my mother and my father proud. My father's no longer with us. He passed away when I was very young. But I remember just looking at my mom and telling her that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That I knew that came with a lot of struggle and a lot of pursuit and just constant doubt. But like wrestling, it finds a way to it just keeps you going. Like it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do in my life, and I know there's a reason for that. I haven't found the true meaning of like what wrestling is because I don't know yet. But for me, it means to like it's going to be when I can say, all right, my life's complete. Once I get signed, once I do all the things I want to do, that was what I lived for. I lived for pro wrestling, which would say how much obviously I love it. So yeah, I'd say it means to me to just it's an outlet for everyone. I think it's a very good outlet for people. It brings a lot of people together that wouldn't necessarily be together or that you wouldn't think. A lot of the same people in the sense like very different but very similar in wrestling. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great answer and great interview. Getting to learn a little bit about the inner workings of Liam Blak, what he gets up to outside of the ring and things like that. So,
circuit board, you guys.
Yes, absolutely. We're we're diving right in there, just head first into the circuit board. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to our main event top 5 list. Which we are super excited for this one. So Sean, what are we doing this week? What do we got going on?
Doing top 5 influences.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
I'm not sure if he means wrestling, if he means in general, to life, to music, or to all of the above.
Yeah.
But we'll find out from Liam.
Yeah.
You don't know how long it took me to grasp the concept of this.
I had to give you a little bit of help, but we got there.
He gave me a lot.
You got there.
So I'm kind of prepared.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, when we do these podcasts, we're only kind of prepared. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'd say my number one influence in my life is my mom.
Okay.
She's helped make me the person that I am today, and she's helped shape what I think to be a pretty decent young human being in myself. I'm giving myself the title young, but I feel very old. So pretty soon it's going to catch up to me, so I'm just going to use it while I can.
We were just saying off the air that I said you had an old soul because you were trying to figure out your camera, and you're like, I don't know which way this goes. I don't know what's going on.
Technology.
This
darn technology.
To set this thing up, and I'm like, technology. Oh God.
These newfangled things.
No, it was very difficult to figure out. No, my mama, she's number one. One of the top influences on me. Shawn Michaels. Styles. We're putting them into one category. I think in terms of wrestling, that you see me and you go, okay. I know. I have always said, I'm like, if Sean were to sit me in a room and we watch my matches, he'd just look over at me and go, "Oh, you liked me growing up,"
right?
And I'd be like, "Yeah, it's true."
Yeah.
Third influence would be for me, music, metal music,
metal music.
Very heavily influenced kind of how I choose to, in a weird way, view life. Just like basically, like a lot of metal is very deep and very lyrical.
Oh yeah.
And I think you also, like with wrestling, comes a lot of the same minded people in terms of that aspect. Influence number 4. I don't want to keep like using wrestling people, but I mean,
It's your list.
White that'll be my fourth. They very much influenced my style. There was a time in my life where I dressed emo, like I did the goth, the purple eyeshadow with the black lipstick,
Right,
all of it.
right.
And I loved it. And the Five Below customers that came in every day that watched, like that I was dressed in that, they appreciated it.
Yes,
So,
they did.
I guess that's very influential in kind of how I've gone about life, especially for that period of time. In my fifth most what I want it to be. Okay, I don't know how this is wrestling. Obviously, that's obviously one of my top five. Wrestling in general has influenced my entire life. So I don't know why that wasn't. I can't believe that. That was almost gonna not be mentioned.
Just off the list, not wrestling.
Yeah, it was gonna not even make.
No, definitely not wrestling. No.
But I got it in there somehow. Can you believe it?
You believe it?
Wrestling, one of the top 5 influences of my life, when that's what I'm doing as a career. It's crazy.
So is that Greco-Roman wrestling from like ancient Greece? Is that what you know?
Oh God, no.
Okay, just clarifying that.
Everyone, they can like what they like, but mine is WWE style.
There you go.
Okay,
there you go.
Because I know a lot of people they're like, oh, the indie style to WWE. I'm like, yeah, I like things to make sense. So for me, it's
right.
So that's just
I like when it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm always excited when wrestling makes sense. It just makes sense, right? You know, to make sense.
Right.
Got it.
All right. Well, we are going to take just a short break here while you check out this amazing video, and we will be right back where we will discuss some upcoming events with Liam Blak. All right.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey, what?
Are we traveling to the future next week?
We are. So next week we have a man out of time, in time, around time. It is Deus Ex Machina.
That's right.
A wrestler for Royalty Wrestling and another number of other companies. He's also a trainee at the Wrestle Factory. So last week's episode we had Coach Ralph, Coach Oleg, Castle Rolfenstein, whatever you want to call him.
All the above.
The man was here to discuss all of that stuff. So big shout out to him and everyone at the Wrestle Factory. I got to see a student showcase last night.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. So check out those 2 interviews. And then once we wrap up February starts our Bell to Bell month.
Yeah.
Where we are talking all about bell to bell wrestling. We are super excited. Our first week in February, we have special guest, brand new champ, Gabby Ortiz will be joining us. And as an added bonus, Missy Sampson will be my special guest host as Sean heads on to the Jericho cruise. So Missy and I will be chatting it up with Gabby. And then we go into week 2 where we talk to Becca Wiley. So two great interviews already scheduled for Bell to Bell month. Check out all our socials for upcoming episodes for Bell to Bell month. We'll have some announcements coming soon as to the rest of the month. But here we are with Liam Blak. So let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on in the upcoming future.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm eating a sandwich later. No.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally was not ready for that question. No, every single factory show coming up for the calendar year.
Yes.
Liam Blak will be a part of.
Yeah.
So you have all those. Gonna be making some appearances again. I'm making an appearance for X Brand Wrestling.
Okay.
I believe that's on the 22nd of February. against Control Chaos.
Ah.
The poster hasn't been out yet, so we're just gonna keep this under wraps between everyone.
Yeah,
watching.
nobody.
Uh,
you don't tell anybody anything.
Whatever,
No.
Because I truthfully don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna let you guys know that.
Yeah.
We never know what's going on either, so we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. I'm figuring it out as I go.
Yeah, that's right.
We have a group chat, and Papa Juice just tells all the info that I need. He just
right.
Yep.
And I'm just like, all right, I appreciate it, because I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to me.
Right.
And then making an appearance for the first time at DCW pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be fun. Interesting. Yeah. Obviously, that's gonna have to be defended. So I'll give her one. Don't know the date for that yet. I was not told. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll be and hopefully I'll also be in Mexico this year.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, those are all Liam Blak's scheduled appearances that I know
Awesome.
of. I probably have a bunch more that my brain's just not computing right now.
Well, listen, your socials have been running at the bottom of the screen for the episode, so people can follow you on Twitter. They can follow you on Instagram. They can go check out Long Lost Matches on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. So there's all kinds of ways to follow Liam Blak, and I'm sure whenever dates are coming up, you will see them on his socials. So please be sure to
except on Twitter.
We don't do that.
But follow me, and I'm working on getting my Twitter level to my Instagram level.
Yeah,
right.
Ooh,
Working
on
on
the rails, man.
Boy.
Getting there.
Yeah, ever since it became X, we're just like, whatever. Whatever. Man, X this. Yeah. All right. Well, it has been a great episode. We thank you for joining us today. We thank you for your time. Definitely enjoyed chatting it up with you. Yeah. Wow. We love to hear that kind of stuff. And we get super excited about that, because we try to do what we can for indie wrestling, especially. We love, talking to indie wrestlers and highlighting promotions and different things. So anytime we get to chat it up with a rising star on the indie scene, we love to take that opportunity, especially one who's a fan. So you are definitely welcome here anytime. Right.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Opinion City podcast. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And
wait.
Hold on. Wait.
Last time I did a podcast, my mom killed me. Mom, special shout out to my mother. Last time I didn't mention her, she lost her mind.
Okay.
So, Mom, if you're watching, I love you. I appreciate you for watching, and that was it. That's it. That's all. I'm done.
All right.
That's it. That was all.
Well,
I mentioned that because I didn't want her to come up to Philadelphia and kill me. So,
so that is going to do it for Liam Blak's mother's favorite podcast, the Opinion City podcast. And you just remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless, and we will see you guys next time.
Next week.
On behalf of Wild LLC, this has been the Opinion City Podcast. It has been your pleasure.
Happy trails till we meet again.